morning are three thought leaders, so to speak, of the Moodle experience or the e-learning experience here in the Philippines. Our first thought leader is the fourth Chancellor of the UP Open University. She is the president of the Asian Association of Open Universities covering the Asia Pacific region, and she chairs the Asia MOOCs steering committee. So our thought leader on massive open online courses in Asia to talk about the UPOU Moodle experience. Please welcome my boss, Chancellor Dr. Melinda D.P. Bandalaria.
Thank you very much, and Sir Sandy, thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga. Hello. Yes. First, I would like to thank the organizers of the first ever MoodleMoot Philippines for this opportunity to share the UPOU's experience on the use of Moodle. But I would like to remind everyone that in the 10 minutes that was given to me for this presentation, there's no way I could capture UPOU's years of experience of using Moodle. But I'm happy to note that, or to tell everyone that my colleagues are here and we will be sharing, they will also be sharing their own experiences in using Moodle. May I recognize the UPOU team who are here with us from Table 11. My colleagues, Sir Sandy is here. There's one there in Table 6. And may I also know who from this audience happened to be teaching, had experience of teaching at UPOU, or are graduates or students of UPOU? Dito marami. Graduate, estudyante, may graduate doon. So each of these persons, individuals, can also share their own experiences in using Moodle from their own perspectives, okay? But also I would like to say that our experience, the UPOU's experience in using Moodle is very much shaped by the technical team supporting us at UPOU. And in all my speaking engagements, I always say, I am very lucky, UPOU is very lucky that we have the best technical team supporting Moodle. They are also there at Table 11. So if you want to know these people, approach them, and they will also be sharing their experiences on how to provide technical support in using Moodle. These are also the people who are very much active in doing research when it comes to Moodle. So as introduced, okay, so this is my presentation, and as introduced also by my boss, he's also my boss because he is my dean in my capacity as a faculty member of UP Open University, and for the term 2017 to 2019, the Philippines through the Open University, the UP Open University, is the president of the Asian Association of Open Universities. Where shall I point this? Ayaw niya. Okay. So let me first give you a brief background about the UP Open University. We're one of the constituent units of the University of the Philippines system, the only national university here in our country. We were established in 1995, and we have this mandate to democratize access to quality higher education through distance education. We have positioned ourselves as a public service university. Yes, we are a research university, and we are a graduate university. We started doing or offering our programs in the distance e-learning mode in 2001, and we became fully online in 2007. And during that time, the year when there were so much negative comments or reactions to massive open online courses, we started offering our own model, version, framework of massive open online courses in 2013. We've been recognized, the university is recognized as the institutional forerunner of open educational resources in the Philippines, being an open university who openly advocated for OERs as early as 2011. So even before we started offering MOOCs, we already started advocating for openness in education, and in fact, that has become one of our major discussions during meetings of the university officials as early as 2011. We've been recognized nationally through the RA 10650 or the Open Distance Learning Act we've been mandated to provide assistance to those higher educational institutions, TESDA institutions, who are interested to offer their programs in the distance e-learning mode. And as mentioned by Dean Sandy, at the regional and global arena, we are also recognized through our involvement in the various initiatives, programs, committees, even by UNESCO, when it comes to works and programs on open education practices. Okay, so here is a simple or brief profile about the UP Open University. These are the degree and non-degree programs that we are offering under the 3 Faculty of Studies. We have 3 undergraduate programs, 26 graduate level, diploma, master's, 2 doctoral programs, and we have developed original MOOCs, 46 massive open online courses, and we will soon be starting to offer 27 new MOOCs on business analytics. Okay, so this is the how, this is the story, this is the narrative about the UPOU's use of Moodle. Nasira yung slide. Actually, as I mentioned, we started using Moodle in 2001. Or we started offering our programs in the distance mode in 2001. That was 6 years after the establishment of UP Open University. And then we became fully online in 2007. But between 2001 and 2007, that was in 1999 or 2000, when a group of UPOU faculty underwent a training on online learning in the Philippines and Curtin University. That's why I said, it's nice to meet you again. When we were in Curtin University, yes, you were one of our lecturers. And that's when we first heard of Moodle. So I think it was at the early stage of developing Moodle at that time when you were tapped by our trainers to talk about learning management system. And we were just starting our training on online learning at the time. And that lecture on Moodle, learning management system, where you happened to be our resource person, was our first introduction to Moodle and to the learning management system. And then, when I was preparing for this presentation, I even validated that recollection with the person who really helped us develop Moodle as our learning management system. That's why I put her name there. It's Dr. Suplido Westergaard, who is no longer connected with us. So I asked her, are my recollections correct that Martin was one of our lecturers when we were at Curtin University? And she said, yes. And I told her that you will be here with us in this MoodleMoot Philippines. And she was so excited about it. So that's the start. That's the start of our learning about Moodle. That was about 1999, middle part or 2000. But when we started doing online at UPOU, that was in 2001, we were still using another learning management system that was developed by another university in Asia. So we were using that learning management system, the earlier version of that learning management system, for free at that time. But then, 2-3 years of using that learning management system, we encountered problems. It's not, since that's an early version, it's not scalable to the number of users that we had at that time. So at that point, we began searching for another learning management system. And that's when we recalled that lecture in Curtin and starting searching again about Moodle and customizing it for the use of UP Open University. So since then, we started developing this Moodle instance for the use of our degree courses. And then up to now, and then in 2014, we were also using it for our training programs. Can you? Ayaw. Next slide. Ayaw. Okay. No, there's another slide before that. Okay. These are the Moodle instances at UPOU. There are 6 Moodle instances. The Moodle 3.2, we are using that for the My Portal. My Portal is where our degree courses are. So that's Moodle 3.2. We also have a Moodle instance for our DE Readiness module. We have this DE Readiness module for our students who are planning to enroll with us, that's one, and for our learners who want to be part of our massive open online courses. So that's running on Moodle 2.8, right, Roel? But there is a plan to upgrade that to another version, to a more advanced version. There's also the Moodle, that's the Massive Open Distance eLearning Moodle instance, which is running on 3.1.5 version. And this is scheduled for upgrading to 3.3 or 3.4 the moment we have completed the current run of MOOCs that we have now. We also have another instance since the Philippines, UPOU in particular, is now leading the Asian MOOCs. So we also installed a Moodle instance, which is the Asian MOOCs Learning Portal, which is running on Moodle 3.3.4. Okay? There is also a Moodle instance on Independent Learning Portal. We have these independent learning programs at UPOU wherein the students can enroll anytime that they want. So they have to be in a separate learning portal. And that one is running on Moodle 3.3. We also install a Moodle instance which we are using for our training programs. So this is the Moodle version. But what we have here is that whatever is the most recent version of Moodle, we are using that for our training programs because this serves as our sandbox how we would like to familiarize ourselves with the features of Moodle. That's why I mentioned earlier that we're quite excited about the upcoming versions of Moodle, because it means that there are also other things that we could look into for our training programs when we do our mandate under the RA 10650. RA 10650, Section 12 of that, mentions that UP Open University should provide assistance to CHED and TESDA. TESDA is also here with us. When or if they want to offer their programs in the distance e-learning mode. And part of the training courses that we provide is on the use of learning management system. That's why we're also excited about that certification program that Martin has mentioned earlier. We are also running certification programs through MOOCs, through massive open online courses, for those who are interested to know more about online teaching, online learning. And this certification program has been endorsed and recognized by the Commission on Higher Education. So we have 9 massive open online courses which we offer regularly, and teachers, administrators, technical people, you can enroll in these massive open online courses and be certified for the skills that these courses can teach you. So these courses are still going on. And when we do training programs for universities, right now we also have this project with CHED, wherein we are shepherding or cascading our best practices to higher education institutions. And the learning management system, choosing learning management system, we openly advocate for open source. And that's one of the reasons also why we keep on using Moodle, why we keep on doing research on Moodle, and why we keep on sharing about our experiences on using Moodle. Next slide. Okay. So, as a teacher, I have this experience of using Moodle as a teacher for our degree courses and as a course coordinator or faculty in charge for our massive open online courses. So these are the 2 instances for my portal and Moodle degree courses and for the massive open online courses of UPOU. So the Moodle features that I'm using: uploading files, course materials, discussion forum, wherein we can design the courses to facilitate the 3 or 4 types of interactions that we deem necessary for learning to happen. That's learner-learner interaction, learner-teacher interaction, the learner-content interaction, and in some cases, Moodle is also our opportunity to introduce the learners, our learners, to their own communities of practice. So the 4 types of interaction that we are facilitating through the use of Moodle. We can also embed video materials. That's a very rich, that's a very good feature of Moodle, which we are using in our massive open online courses. And I'm also using online and automated assessments. And you can do many the kind of settings that you want for your courses. Submission of course requirements, of course, grading of course requirements, which the students can immediately see. So there's an immediate feedback to the students, which is very important in a distance learning situation. Monitoring learners' activities for the provision of support system, if and when necessary. I mentioned earlier that there is that simple analytics in Moodle which can tell you who among your students is at the risk or at the risk of dropping because there's no activity being detected by the portal from these students. So because of this information, we can immediately provide support to our students and somehow prevent them from dropping in our courses. Of course, giving feedback, monitor who is online. For me, that's a very important feature of my course. I always use that so that I can see who among my students are online at the time that I am also online and accessing the course sites. I can also send email to individual students. They can also email to me. And I can also send email blasts to all of my students if I need to announce something. Like for instance, reminding them of the final exam schedule, which will happen this May, right? So I don't want to be receiving emails from my students that they forgot about the schedule of final exam. So I will be using the email blast feature of my portal so I can also announce to my students that, hey, take note that your final exam learning assessment is scheduled on this day, including the instructions that I want to give them for this final exam. Some of my colleagues are using other features, like for instance, the other plugins of Moodle, the big blue button, the wikis, blogs. Some of our students are some of our faculty members are also using those features. Earlier, Martin was talking about the different plugins and how the Moodle community are also, the members of the Moodle community are also helping us. I remember during our first years of using Moodle for MOOCs, I was also always bugging our technical team. I was always asking them to do this, to do this, to do this. Looking for open access, open source plugins for Moodle. And they will always tell me, Ma'am, the community will have an answer to your question. So they will always go to the community and search for answers to the questions or to the things, to the tasks that I am asking them to do. And lo and behold, I don't know what miracles they are doing, but they can always provide solutions to the questions or problems that we encounter in using Moodle. And that's also a very good learning experience for us because we also get to learn the many plugins that we teachers need to integrate into our course site. We are also excited about that feature of Moodle, the 3.6 version of Moodle, wherein universities will be asked, what exactly is it that you need from a learning management system? Because in the past, we educators, we always just look for something that would fit our needs, right? So we need something like this, then we will search for something that would fit us and sometimes customize it to fit our needs or answer our concerns. But this time, if we can shape the direction of future technologies, if educators can have a voice in the development of future technologies, that will be great for the education system, especially for us. We also believe that at the center of each sustainable goals, SDGs, of the 17, education, especially open education, is at the center of each SDG. That's why for the UP Open University, we are trying to work on a MOOC, at least one MOOC, that would respond to the education component of each of the 17 development goals. So again, additional features, setting to facilitate the course site development. The question bank, very, very important. Also, schedule setting. You can set the schedule of your discussion forums, your exam, such that it will open on this date, on this time, close on this date, on this time. So it's a very empowering tool for teachers like us. For teachers like us. Because right at the start of the semester, you can already do all these things and just access your course site to monitor the activities of your students. Gradebook, of course, wikis, and surveys, I have mentioned that. Of course, I have mentioned about the open access thing, the plugins, and the big community of users, the members of which are always there. I mean, there's that community which we can turn to if we have problems in using the learning management system. In the course of our visits to the other higher education institutions, we have encountered concerns like we don't have a learning management system. There was even one university who tried to develop a learning management system from the grounds up. Imagine what kind of work that is. And we said, why? Why reinvent the wheel when there's a very good version or brand of wheel that is already there, right there, and free for us to use? May I also mention that earlier Martin said that they want to be present in the conferences wherein there's Blackboard, there's Canvas, and he said probably we Moodle users also try to look the what's that logo, the logo of Moodle. I was telling my colleagues, well, I'm not really that very much affected if Moodle is not there together with Blackboard or Canvas, because we also know how much it takes to be there and be part of these big conferences. So, but we know as longtime users of Moodle, we know what Moodle can give us. We know what the advantages of using Moodle, and we hope that the UP Open University can continue contributing to the Moodle community through our own research and our own experience of using Moodle. So again, thank you very much. He was already trying to get me off the stage. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your time. Hindi mo ba muna sila?
Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker comes from the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. Here to talk about TESDA and the TESDA e-learning experience, representing Maria Susan de la Rama, is Bianca Himaya Luna. A round of applause for Ms. Bianca.
Hello, yes. Good day to everyone. First of all, we would like to thank the organizers for inviting us to be a part of the very first MoodleMoot here in the Philippines. So on behalf of Executive Director Maria Susan P. de la Rama, I will be presenting to you the TESDA Moodle experience. To contextualize our Moodle experience, we will first give you a backgrounder on the mandate and objectives of TESDA, eTESDA, and TESDA online program. The Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, is the government agency tasked to manage and supervise technical education and skills development in the Philippines. So it was created by the virtue of Republic Act 7796, otherwise known as the Technical Education and Skills Development Act of 1994. The said act integrated the functions of the former NMYC, or the National Manpower Youth Council, the Bureau of Technical Vocational Education of Department of Education, Culture, and Sports, and the Office of Apprenticeship of the Department of Labor and Employment. So TESDA is mandated to integrate, coordinate, and monitor skills development programs, restructure efforts to promote and develop middle-level manpower, approve skill standards and tests, develop an accreditation system for institutions involved in middle-level manpower development, fund programs and projects for technical education and skills, and to assist in trainers' training programs. So a study conducted by the International Labour Organization, or ILO, on how technology is changing jobs and enterprises showed that 18.2 million jobs nationwide may be affected by automation. So low-skilled workers, women, youth, less educated are more likely to be affected by this. And that there will be higher demand for workers with strong technical skills and STEM background. So this is one of the challenges identified in the crafting of the National Technical Education and Skills Development Plan for 2018 to 2022. So, but even prior to this, and to adapt with the technological advancement and to digitize learning to efficiently provide equal access to quality TVET education, TESDA established the eTESDA. In the Philippines, Technical Vocational Education and Trainings, or TVET, is delivered in 5 modes. So first, it is institution-based, enterprise-based, community-based, mobile training, and the TESDA online program. So for today's presentation, we will be focusing more on the TESDA online program. eTESDA as a project was proposed way back in 2007. So it was a project to expand the access and opportunities to quality technical vocational education and training by the Filipino people through the use of technology. So with that, the objectives of eTESDA, first is to broaden access and opportunities to quality TVET by harnessing technology. Second is to improve the quality of TVET delivery through standardized content of TVET programs. Standardizing content of TVET programs ensures the quality of the courses being delivered to the learners. Next is to increase the absorptive capacity of TVET institutions. So a study was conducted in one of the TESDA training institutions, which is the TWC, or the TESDA Women's Center, showed that there were significant differences between the training duration of those trainees who had undergone blended training. So blended training is a kind of training where we integrate TESDA online program with the face-to-face learning model. So the study showed that on the average, the trainees under blended training spent only 213 hours out of 472 hours. That is around 50% faster than the nominal duration of completing a course. So with that, the absorptive capacity of the TESDA Women's Center increased by 150% more in 2017. So, and last but not the least, is to expand TESDA services beyond borders and to cater the needs of the OFWs in honing and upgrading their skills. So why TESDA online program? So in formulating plans to enhance and develop the delivery of vocational education skills in the country in a more effective and efficient way, and also guided by the vision of the former TESDA Secretary and now Senator Joel Villanueva, to reach the grassroots and empower the rich, the TESDA online program, or TOP, was initiated in the last quarter of 2011 and was launched in May 2012. Initially, there were only 4 online courses that are available under the TESDA online program, namely the Computer Hardware Servicing NC2, the Room Attendant Servicing, which is a core competency of the Housekeeping NC2, and Cell Phone Servicing, which is one of the competencies of the Consumer Electronics Servicing NC2. So the TOP, or the TESDA online program, is one of the TESDA strategies to expand its capacity to deliver TVET. So it is an open educational resource that aims to make technical education more accessible to Filipino citizens through the use of information and communication technologies. The program is conceived to provide opportunities to the citizens, and it is one way of providing them a chance to acquire skills, be certified to improve their chances of getting a job. Moreover, TESDA would be expanding the capacity of its TESDA online programs with the massive online open courses or MOOCs becoming an alternative learning modality. We would like to develop more courses to expand access to TVET, especially that people are becoming tech-savvy. So there, the TESDA online program features free TVET online courses and learning materials. So TOP provides an effective and efficient way to deliver technical education skills development services to a wide range of users, to all learners at a lesser cost. So we say that we offer it for a lesser cost because you still, the learners will still have to pay for the internet, for the electric bills, etc., etc. So this is the concept behind the TESDA online program. First, the goal is for the learners to learn and study online at his or her own pace, own time and own place, to relearn the lessons over and over for mastery, and to apply practice and skills at home or in a similar workplace, and be assessed and be certified if applicable. So this is the traditional face-to-face learning model, wherein used in competency-based training, wherein the learning and practice is given in a training center. Then afterwards, if applicable, they can be assessed in assessment centers to increase their chances of securing a job. Meanwhile, in TESDA online program, the learners can practice and hone their skills at home, and if they think they are ready, they can get certified through assessment centers. So there, if you are interested, you can visit the TESDA online program that can be accessed from PC, tablets, and mobile phones. And you can visit us at www.etesda.gov.ph. So I think I have to wrap it up, right? So I'll just proceed to the TESDA, our actual Moodle experience. There. So, TOP uses Moodle as its learning management system. So, before launching the TESDA online program, TESDA already had an online platform with other developer. But when the contract with them has expired, we had to look for another LMS that can meet the requirements we need for the online program. So, when Executive Director Susan De La Rama was asked by former Secretary Villanueva to create an online program for TVET, luckily, some of our staff in eTESDA was invited by the Philippine eLearning Society, PELS, to attend a 6 consecutive Saturdays Moodle training seminar way back in 2007 and 2008. So since it was free and we did not have the budget we didn't have the budget that we need back then, we opted to use Moodle for the TESDA online program. So why Moodle? First of all, it meets the requirements we are looking for in a LMS. So it is highly flexible and highly customizable. So we also share common objective, which is to provide online education for free. So second is that it is easy to use, both for the content developers, the learners, and for the technical developer. Third, it is open source. So since it is open source, there is an active international online community that can help developers in fixing bugs, resolving problems, and continuously develop the system. So how did we learn to use Moodle? As what I've said earlier, eTESDA was invited in a Moodle training seminar by PELS way back in 2007 and 2008. So this gave them background on how to utilize the Moodle for delivering TVET programs. And last 2017, a similar Moodle training workshop was conducted for eTESDA Center Administrator. So another part of, actually research played an important part in enhancing our knowledge and ideas on how we can utilize Moodle to effectively deliver TVET online courses. And lastly, is we engage with wide-range international community of Moodle developers to keep ourselves updated. In 2011, we migrated from our previous portal and started using Moodle with a version 1.9. So today we are now using version 3.2, and we are planning to upgrade it to the latest version, which is, I think, version 3.4 or 3.6, but we still need to schedule it to advise our users. So challenges. So one of the challenges we encountered when we started using Moodle in the TESDA online program for version 1.9 was the limited plugins and features of Moodle. So we wanted to make the interface as interactive as possible for our users. So what we did is we did not directly encode the lessons into Moodle. Rather, we encoded the lessons in different pages, then we linked it back to Moodle. But this problem was addressed later on, and now we can create interactive media within Moodle through H5P and other kind of plugins. So it is also quite challenging for us to monitor learners' progress since it is a MOOC. We don't have trainers assigned to monitor the learner's progress. Though the learner's progress, with the Moodle update, it enabled us to monitor the learner's completion progress. Though we cannot directly check if they really did finish it or if they just went through the whole course. So with that, you cannot actually get a certificate once you finished an online course. You have to go through the usual process, which is to go to assessment centers and be assessed. So next, proper Moodle training. Unfortunately, all of the staff who pioneered in creating the TESDA online program already left eTESDA. So our new LMS administrator, which is Mr. Jerwin Rodriguez, had to learn Moodle from scratch. So thankfully, there is now Nefila Web Technologies and certified by Moodle to conduct related training in the Philippines. So there is also the UPOU with their mandate to assist and provide expertise to CHED and TESDA under the Republic Act of 10650 or the Open Distance eLearning Act. So with that, eTESDA identified 4 major objectives for 2017 to 2020. First is to continue the development of TESDA online programs. Second, to provide capability programs for e-learning trainers and developers. To institutionalize TOP through the registered programs of TTIs and to promote the TOP through advocacy activities. So to wrap it up, we believe that with the continuous development and with the support of the Moodle community worldwide, we can materialize these objectives and enhance and develop the delivery of technical vocational education skills in the country in a more effective and efficient way. So with that, that is the end of my presentation, or Director Susan presentation po. Thank you.
Our next panelist comes from the Department of Computer Science of the Mariano Marcos State University. Here representing the Philippine eLearning Society is Professor Wilben Christy Pagtaconan.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay, good morning. On behalf of the Philippine eLearning Society, I would like to thank the organizers of MoodleMoot for inviting us and, of course, partnering with us with the Philippine eLearning Society. Okay, so I'll be discussing some insights on e-learning in the Philippines. By the way, again, I'm Wilben Pagtaconan, a Board of Trustee of the Philippine eLearning Society, at the same time, a faculty of the Mariano Marcos State University. So, the Philippines has been cited as one of the top 10 countries in the world with high growth of e-learning. So maybe because this is with the change of educational system we have to address ASEAN integration. With ASEAN integration, we've been, or some universities or schools are mandated to come up with a blended learning experience to our students. And this is why, maybe because we want to address the 21st century education. So, the most significant impact of e-learning in the Philippines is, of course, in the domain of education. This is very evident, okay? Secondary for those in the corporate, where they also need trainings for their employees. So, not in the domain of education, we do not only consider our students in terms of e-learning. Considering one factor would be teachers. How will these teachers use these e-learning tools to deliver their lectures? And at the same time, we also have to consider the infrastructure which we will be using in the implementation of these e-learning tools, okay? So, potential users of e-learning includes HEIs, or higher education institutions, private and secondary institutions or schools, private companies for their training needs, and business outsourcing companies, language centers, and government entities. Government entities such as TESDA. But we have challenges in the implementation of e-learning in the Philippines. First is, maybe we are all aware of this, internet connectivity. For us, from the far-flung place, from the north, so we have problem also in terms of connectivity. How about those from Mindanao? Lucky for those who are in the metro, because they have the high bandwidth of the internet connectivity. But we can solve that with the help of our Department of, or DICT. So they are solving, or they are having their One Connect project, the free internet for the whole Philippines. And of course, availability of locally developed content and curriculum online. So this is very important because this will be the content of the learning material that we will be providing to our learners. And of course, training and professional development. As policy-making bodies, we should also incorporate training to our teachers for them to really utilize the use of these e-learning tools. Now, I'll just show you or enumerate some of the e-learning trends which we will happen to face in the next years, okay? So virtual reality and augmented reality. So who among you here are now using AR and VR in their class? These are very important tools in engaging your students when it comes, let's say, for example, for virtual reality, for them to really experience what is happening in the real world. And then gamification and game-based learning. Also, we have adaptive or personalized learning customized to specific learning needs. And for micro-learning, so micro-learning, this is by means of chunk or putting your lessons in chunks, just like a bite size, for your learners to really learn from it. And of course, mobile learning with the use of mobile devices. Now, with the Philippine eLearning Society, our website, you can check elearning.ph. So our mission, by the way, the Philippine eLearning Society is a professional organization, group of e-learning enthusiasts, teachers, and other e-learning advocates. So PELS aims to be recognized as a premier organization that spearheads the advancement of e-learning in the Philippines. So basically, we exist to lead the development of e-learning competencies through education and training, and to promote collaboration among e-learning practitioners. So here are some of our activities. So we conduct international conference on e-learning. So last year we had in Vietnam. And then for the National E-Learning Conference held in the Philippines, this year we will be conducting the National E-Learning Conference in Butuan City, scheduled on September 11 to 13 this year. And we also have ICE Talks and PELS Kapihan. These are small group discussions of inviting speakers from different partners of PELS and, of course, partner institutions. So we have schedules of ICE Talks in Bacolod, maybe this July. And then we also have series of Kapihan in cooperation or in partnership with the Agricultural Training Institute to be held in the HEIs in the Mindanao area this July also. Now, I'll be sharing you the Moodle experience of our university, the Mariano Marcos State University, and we call it as MVLE, or the Mariano Marcos State University Virtual Learning Environment, which is running also in Moodle. So this is the homepage of our MVLE. The version of this one. By the way, we started implementing our MVLE 2013. So that was the first implementation. And during the implementation of this virtual learning environment, we are considering 3 factors. First, really is on infrastructure. And then second, users. And of course, maintenance of the system. As a state university, we have limited budget in terms of infrastructure. So what we do, though we have servers, we are hosting our own MVLE. In terms of manpower or the users, we conduct series of trainings to our faculty members. These trainings are given to our faculty members so that they will be able to utilize the system. Because without these training programs and this policy in terms of the implementation of the virtual learning environment, then the entire project would fail. So basically, to sustain really the implementation of such a system like this would be to treat your teachers or faculty members that you need to monitor them. Aside from training them, you have to monitor them if they are really using the system. So with that, thank you very much. And I hope to see you and to be part of the Philippine eLearning Society also, and to be part of our next activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wilben, please. Chancellor Bandalaria, Chancellor Mel, Bianca, Wilben, thank you very much for sharing with us your e-learning, specifically Moodle experience. And I would like to request our audience to show our appreciation to the nuggets of wisdom that they have imparted. Now, it appears that the UP Open University is the first Moodle user. You started in 2006, right, Chancellor Mel? Yes. and TESDA, with the prodding of the eLearning Society, began using Moodle in 2011. Wilben's 20, or is it MVLE? It's called, that's Moodle Virtual Learning Environment, is it? Oh, Mariano Marcos. Yeah, the Mariano Marcos State University Learning Environment was established in 2013. Yes, and if I recall correctly, the Philippine eLearning Society was already advocating the use of Moodle as early as 2004 or yes. Yeah. Yes, okay. Now, tell us, please explain to the audience that since you began, what concrete impact have you observed insofar as higher education is concerned, technical education and skills development is concerned, and the human resource development sector is concerned, beginning with Chancellor Mel? Yes.
Country impact?
Yes, of course.
Actually, the use of Moodle, when we look at the impact of using Moodle, it aligns with the university's advocacy of openness and sharing.
Yes.
This is very much, this supports what we are doing now. Like for instance, under RA 10650, we are assisting CHED and TESDA. And with the use of Moodle, we are saying that open source is the way to go.
Yes.
Is the way to go.
Yes.
If we will not use Moodle, or if we were not using Moodle, then we don't have the
strength of conviction.
The conviction
Yes.
to even advocate openness,
Yes.
right? And we all know that many of these institutions, as what has been shared by our colleague here from PELS, resources is a constraint. When it comes to translating your programs into online, even using blended learning. So when we use Moodle, when we say, okay, use Moodle because very minimal resources, you will not be paying large chunk of money just to pay for the developers of this learning management system. So this is us.
Yes.
This speaks very much of what UPOU is as a university, what we are advocating, and where we hope to go in the next years to come. Especially now that even those who don't have plans of doing full-time or full online learning programs, or even just using blended teaching and learning mode of delivery, using open educational resources, Moodle can still be the platform for that. So we hope that it can create also the ripples that we want to create when it comes to using open access resources.
I noted, before transferring the microphone to Bianca, I noted that when I asked you about impact, you said national. Why do you feel that the UP Open University has international impact?
Definitely, because even right now, being the president of the Asian Association of Open Universities and also spearheading the Asian MOOCs, we are also using Moodle, and we are also advocating for the use of open source materials for all the members of the Asian Association of Open Universities. And that goes without saying that we are influencing more than 60 countries in Asia.
60 countries, yes.
Yes, and also as an active member of the International Council for Open and Distance Education, since we also sit as an active member of ICDE, and where we also get the opportunity to talk about what UPOU is doing and what the Asian Association of Open Universities is also doing when it comes to advocating for open source materials and resources.
Okay, thank you. Chancellor, you're breaking the border, so to speak. Now, let's hear from Bianca. And
Yes po. Good day again to everyone. So, as to the impact of TESDA online program to in the Philippine settings, TESDA online program currently have 1,142,000 users
So
registered.
it's the biggest number.
I cannot say that it's the, is it? There, it is the biggest out of all the MOOCs here in the Philippines. So we have 1,142,000 users, and 76.9% of those are located in the Philippines, while the other 23.11% are located overseas. So we tap not only we give service not only to the Filipino people here in the Philippines, rather the Filipino people all over the world. So as to a more concrete example is what I've discussed earlier is the study conducted in one of the TESDA training institute in the TESDA Women's Center that it has proven, the data showed that the trainees who had undergone blended training which integrates TOP, the TESDA online program, with the competency-based face-to-face learning, completed the courses 50% faster than the nominal duration of completing a course. So with that, the absorptive capacity of TESDA to cater the needs of the trainees have expanded to 150%. Well, for the TWC, because that's the focus of the study conducted. So I think that is the effect of TESDA, impact of TESDA in the Philippines or to the Filipino people.
Yes, yes. Now let us hear from the Philippine eLearning Society. What do you think has been the impact of this professional association since you began?
Okay, so as the objective of our organization is to advocate the use of e-learning. So that is really the focus of the group or of the organization. Now, when I'll go back to our implementation of MVLE, of course, as a state university, traditional teachers are there. We cannot go away with them. But during our first implementation, there was really a total revolution of the educational system in the university. That was the first problem I myself, as the implementer of the system, had a very they feel that I am against their traditional teaching method. But through educating these educators to really appreciate the use of e-learning tools, up to this time, still, they are using now the MVLE. So that was the challenge for us during the first implementation of the system, to really look into the acceptance of these teachers to really use the application or the system.
Yes. Okay. So now I see some form of disaggregation here insofar as impacts are concerned. UPOU's gains are in the higher education sector in particular, and it even goes beyond, meaning universities in the Asia and the Pacific. Now, insofar as TESDA is concerned, the focus is on technical skills and technical education, and it also goes beyond catering to our overseas Filipino workers. And the focus of the Philippine eLearning Society are teachers. So you're addressing the need for capacity development among our teachers. One of the values, I believe, of Moodle HQ. Okay. Now, I note that your three institutions have actually collaborated during the crafting of the Republic Act 10650. You were the so-called resource persons and lobbyists of our senators and congressmen. And, the Philippines is the only country in the entire world, I think, that has a Republic Act, a law on open and distance learning. What could you say about that? You know, don't you think that this is part, actually, of your, don't you take credit for that as institutions, or, yes, about beginning with you, Chancellor? Yeah, maybe we should begin with the Philippine eLearning Society first. Oh. Yeah. Don't you feel proud of your contribution? Yes.
Okay, so in addressing or in line with the RA,
Yes.
maybe for us in PELS, really, we are proud also.
Yeah.
Yes, because this is our way to really, or have a basis really to push through on the use of this e-learning or learning management systems.
Moodle in particular.
Yes, Moodle in particular.
Yeah. TESDA?
Yes, adding to that, well, TESDA is actually one of the implementors of the, ODEL, and we're quite not proud, but we're humbled that we have given we were given a chance to actually host the TESDA online program to cater the needs of providing technical education skills to the Filipino people. So I think yes.
Yes.
Probably I can say that having RA 10650 is one of our greatest
Achievements.
accomplishments as far as UPOU is concerned when it comes to really promoting open distance learning here in the Philippines, and even not only the open distance learning, but even from the technology-enhanced mode of instruction. That's really what we are advocating. And I can say that when that law was signed on December 2014, it was, as far as UPOU is concerned, it was one of our happiest moments. That finally here's one law, one instrument that we can use, that UPOU can use, so that we can openly really promote and work for open distance learning in the Philippines. And even those who are advocating for the same, not only institutions but also individuals, this is an enabling mechanism for us to go together and move towards this direction. And we are also, especially UPOU, we're very happy that we're specifically mentioned in that law. That's Section 12 of that law, which specifically mandated UPOU. And I guess that law really strengthened UPOU's position. It's not even UP, it's just UPOU. And when during the committee hearings, the bicameral hearings, we were there together with CHED and TESDA, and we were really fighting for the enactment of this law. That's why we're really happy, we're proud that the Philippines has this law. Yes. And even during international conferences, Philippines can say that we are a very much enabled community, nation when it comes to open distance learning because of this law. And very rare that we have this kind of thing in other countries.
Right,
so that's why we're very happy for
and
that.
Considering that all your institutions are Moodle champions, it's a surprise that you did not legislate Moodle, meaning include it in the legislation. Okay. No other LMS may be used in the Philippines.
So if I may say, one of the provisions of that law is the open sharing. That's there.
Right.
That's there, and that's why we also have or look at that law as an enabling mechanism for us to do this open sharing and really promote this among institutions for everyone. That's why we're saying that we have this copyright, then the copy center, and then even the copy left. And then you just find yourself where you are in this continuum. And then we would also, we at UPOU, we always like to say we are at the copy left, that portion, on that portion of the continuum. So that law already has that provision
Yes.
about openness and sharing, especially if it's coming from us.
Yes, yes. One last question, one last question. You must have heard of the Paris message, where 49 countries actually made a statement, signed it in Paris, saying that all their governments should look, not only explore the potentials of open and distance learning, considering that the first set of Millennium Development Goals, 2000 to 2015, was quite successful in a sense that they made basic education readily available. Now the problem is who will absorb the basic education graduates of these countries when higher educational institutions are not growing that fast, okay? So what do you feel? Well, first of all, do you believe in an international role as champion for your respective institutions? Yes.
Sir, if I may add, the Paris message also says that by 2030, there will be about 400 million students will wanting to gain access to higher education. And if the conventional higher education institutions will not transform themselves, then there's no way that we can meet that demand. And the focus is slowly shifting to Asia. Slowly shifting to Asia, also because of this fourth industrial revolution, all these things that are happening now to compound that Paris message, which by the way was issued by ICDE and UNESCO in 2015. So there is this really a big role for us to do open distance learning. Now, how do we respond? UP Open University already responded, or we started responding to it by doing online. 25% of our students are based outside the country. And that's also the reason why in 2013, we started doing our MOOCs. We're even before the Paris message. Yeah. When we started having our own brand of massive open online courses, and that's the reason why we're also very happy that we have Moodle, because it made us easy. It facilitated our open education practice, which is concretized, one of our concretizations is through the massive open online courses. And through this open education practice, quality, if I may say, is also integrated into the framework of how we are doing things. And this is also something that we can do in the use of Moodle. Then this is how we can respond to the Paris message. The open education practice, doing open distance e-learning, advocating openness, advocating sharing, and if I may go back to the Sustainable Development Goals, having education, especially open education, at the center of each of these goals will be our response to the Paris message.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Bianca?
First of all, actually, I cannot make such statements like Chancellor. So I'm only a research associate of TESDA, but I personally I agree to what Chancellor has said because way back in 2007, we TESDA has already seen the need to develop and to adapt to technological advancements in not only the Philippines but worldwide. So that's why TESDA created the eTESDA. And in 2011, the secretary then instructed the eTESDA to create an online program. Again, that is a direct answer. I think that is a direct answer. Even before the message was actually delivered in that Paris Convention. So I think we are currently actually before the message. We have actually responded to the needs to adapt to the technological advancements that is happening in the world. So I don't think if I think that's a positive action of the TESDA and UPOU universities and other universities that started way back before the Paris Convention.
Okay. Yeah, yes, please.
About the open education something, we are collaborating with TESDA. In fact, we were partnering not only because of RA 10650, but because of our belief that there has to be something that lifelong learners can go to. I mean, it's not just higher education. There's also the technical vocational education. So there is a space for the education providers to really respond to the need of lifelong learners and not only of higher education. If we are to look at the continuum of lifelong learners, it's from the womb to tomb, right? So in all these stages of life, there has to be lifelong learning opportunities for everyone.
Yes.
So that means to say that the courses offered by TESDA, those who are interested to go into this line of education, that's why I always tell TESDA, you really have to expand your reach. And I'm happy to note that TESDA is already reaching that many because of this very big challenge ahead of us, providers of lifelong learning programs.
Yes.
That's why, yes.
That's right. But
Yes.
all of us, we require trained teachers. And that's where the Philippine eLearning Society will come in. Yes, could you say something? Yeah?
Yes, the Philippine eLearning Society is also open to those who are in need of trainings, specifically on e-learning tools. So we offer trainings also, provided that you have to coordinate with us. And we will coordinate also with our partners, such as NafilaWeb is one. And then we have Moodle Rooms and Panopto. These are our industry partners also, which we can bring them into their respective institutions. Now, my thought with the previous question, sir, is we really have to revolutionize the educational system nowadays. It's because we need to transform it into the 21st century education. For in this 21st century education, we are building the 21st century skills of our learners that are needed for them to be globally competitive when they graduate from our institutions. So if we have an insight like that for the whole Philippines, then all graduates of the higher educational institutions in the Philippines would be really globally competitive, and they can go beyond or just outside the Philippine market. They can be, they can work in any places of the world. But maybe you would be commenting, we should also focus on the labor market in the Philippines.
Yes, of course.
But, but still, we have to be globally competitive for us to really have a venue also to communicate with other individuals outside the Philippines.
You know, we would like to, push through this conversation. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, our panelists, Chansey Mel from UPOU, Bianca from TESDA, and Professor Wilben from the Philippine eLearning Society. Thank you very much.